So our topic today, pressed down and overflowing. It's interesting. The topic came through several days ago, and I thought, oh, okay, cool. I know what that means. So I sort of, sat it to the side and went about the business of doing my work in the world and showing up in all the ways that I show up. And then I sat 2 days ago with the concept of pressed down and overflowing and really prepared myself for what it is that Spirit would have me say or do or bring forth or would come through me, just to allow myself to be a vessel for it to come through me and what it was all about. And the first thing that came up for me was the fact that, we all are born with these qualities. We're all born in the divine image and likeness of that which created us. And we all are in agreement that we're created out of the image and likeness of God, which means, therefore, that we're imbued with all of those qualities. God that created the universe, all the galaxies, all of the stars perfectly hung, the earth doing what it does, the moon perfectly controlling the tide and participating in the weather, the sun is there. It's all actively living, working in harmony and in perfect order. And it's abundant, like it's not depleted. It keeps renewing itself, despite what we say, despite all the alarm in the news. The earth continues to replenish itself. It's not depleting. It is continuing to replenish itself. Life continues to be life. Right now we're in the season of autumn, or as we call it in a more relaxed manner, fall. The leaves are falling off the trees. The trees are going into slumber. All of the evergreens are kicking in now because they're taking over. They're on duty now to make sure that the air is cleansed for us to breathe and for the earth to continue to live. That's not stopping. It's just happening in divine order, because life in that way happens in divine order automatically, and every single living thing is imbued with that quality of automatic living. Human beings, however, have a choice. We have a choice to create. We have the ability to create. We don't just create to survive, we create to thrive. We create to become greater, more magnificent, more beautiful, more joy-filled, more love-filled. We create to live fully, wholly, and completely. Animals, trees, things of that nature, they continue to create for their own existence, and they do what they do. Birds sing, the trees bear flowers and blossom and fruit, and they do that, but they don't choose. Like an apple tree doesn't say, I am going to choose to be a pear tree this year, and I'm going to bear pear. That doesn't happen in the animal and plant kingdom. That's never an option. But a human being can say, I'm going to choose to be an attorney. I'm going to choose to be a teacher. I'm going to choose to paint. I'm going to choose to create. I'm going to choose to write songs. I am going to choose today and completely change the trajectory of their lives. So why is that important? It's important because each one of us has a choice to be more, and we're a necessary part of the planet, and each one of us comes with these gifts and talents that we can choose to nurture, we can choose to tend to, we can choose to grow. And it doesn't matter how many times we try and fail, we can always choose to try again. And it's a conscious decision, right? Now the challenge that we have is, because of our humanness, we also have this conditioning that we come into the world and we make these agreements together. And we make agreements based on our life experiences. We make agreements based on what someone else has experienced. We make agreements based on what our parents have taught us, our communities, our friends. And we make these agreements and we start to live our lives from these places. When we were kids, right, we had no limitations. We just knew that we could fly. We knew we could be the fireman. We knew we could dance. We knew we could make mud pies. We knew we could do whatever we chose, and we just did it. We just created until someone said, you can't do that. We knew we could sing. All of us sang out loud, and from the bottom of our bellies we sang. And then somebody told us, you can't sing. And some of us stopped singing. And some of us quieted our voices. Somebody told us, you can't really paint. Or maybe painting is not a good way to make money. What are you going to do with that? What do you think you are, Rembrandt? and we shut down our creative energy and we channeled ourselves towards something else. Some of us, as we got older, experienced loss. Parents died, people made their transitions and were no longer here, relationships ended, friendships broke up and fell apart, and things shifted, and we started building a set of agreements about how we were going to survive. And we forgot that we're here to thrive. And we forgot that we're here to prosper, and we're here to live full on and full out. We forget, right? So we start to internalize and hide ourselves, and we start to cover with layers of protection. And we start to cover ourselves, our true selves, we start to surround ourselves with laws of how, our rules of how we're going to live. I'm only going to give this much, I'm only going to love this much, I'm only going to show up this much. I can only be a doctor because if I paint, that's ridiculous. I can't make any money off that, and I won't be able to support my kids. I'm only going to follow these rules because these rules work, and we start to follow that. And then we start to believe in a God that's limiting, right? Because somewhere in the back of our minds, we're all believing that God is the source of all there is. We all know, whether we can articulate it or not, that we're source, fueled, and funded by the presence of God. Always present. It is the source of life. So if that is true, we must therefore believe in that life. And if our lives are starting to be limiting, we're starting to say that this God is limiting. This God that created the universe. This God that created this magnificent world. This God that created my amazing body that runs and functions on its own completely without me needing to plug it in or do anything. It just does what it needs to do. This God is limiting and cannot allow me to make a living by painting. This God will not allow me to make a living by creating. This God will not allow me to be a teacher because that's ridiculous. I should be a doctor. This God will not allow me to be loved anymore. When we choose to start living limited lives, we start to choose to say that God is limiting. That which is sourcing us is limiting. And there's no truth in that. There's absolutely zero truth in that. Because the reality is, when you look around the world and you look around the planet, all you see is prosperity. All you see is opportunities to thrive. And then you also see people who are choosing to live less than that, who are choosing to live outside of that truth, who are choosing to act as if that truth exists separate from them, and that they are not also divinely purposed, divinely created, and divinely entitled. You know, because we start to tell ourselves things. There's this law, right, of what, and this came through for me in meditation a couple of days ago, about, what are needs? Because we continue to grow and think that our needs are, we got food, clothing, shelter, right? Those are needs. We don't need anything else. Everything else you get is a bonus. Well, what came through for me is everything that is human is necessary and is a need. We have the need to be joyous. We have the need to be joy-filled. We have the need for love. We have the need for self-realization. We have the need to become our fullest selves and to explore who we are freely and completely and to live fully and wholly. And when we do not do those things, we suffer. We start to grow automatically like the birds and like the plants in the garden, but we don't thrive. We're not living thriving, prosperous lives because we have limited ourselves to survival. And survival is not thriving. Surviving is not thriving. Surviving isn't even really living. It's just existing. There is a difference, and we are each here to live fully, wholly, and completely. So to do that, we've got to confront ourselves. We have to confront the truths that we have lulled ourselves into being, that we've created as our own personal truths. And these belief systems that have us in boxes, living in these limited ways of being. We have to become courageous and confront ourselves. Because what a tragedy to have come into the world, spent 30, 60, 90 years on the planet, and not ever realize that which you came to do. Like, that is the biggest tragedy in the world. It's like you came in, you were here, and then you were gone. And what did you do? How did you live? What did you experience? Can you say honestly that you're living right here, right now, the life that you have come into the world to live? And what do you need to do? You need to confront the stuff, the fear that keeps you limited, blocks your ability to manifest the truth of who you are. You need to confront the doubt. You need to confront the anxiety. You need to confront the old experiences and release them and lean into what we call faith. Because many of us talk about faith, but are we living in faith? Are we living in faith? Is your life an expression of faith? Faith is courage to walk through fear. It is believing that on the other side of this, there is freedom, there is love, there is joy. This thing I'm walking through is part of my refining journey. This experience that I'm having right here, right now, is part of my process, but it's not the truth of who I am. Who I am is a divine, prosperous, amazing, incredible being with a unique gift, a unique talent, a unique purpose on this planet, with the divine right to be loved, to be loving, to be in love, to be in joy, to be in creative genius, to live the life that I truly desire, the thing that is in the bottom of my heart that I dare not ever speak of out loud, because it's maybe too big. It may be, that just sounds, very presumptuous of me, or extremely pompous of me to say, this is what I think. That dream that is in your heart has been planted there for a reason. Whether it's a dream to travel and see the world, or it's a dream to create the thing that ends heart disease. Whatever the dream is that's deep within your heart, that seed has been planted there uniquely for you to tend to nurture, to manifest, and to grow. And to do that, you got to let go of doubt. You've got to let go of worry. You've got to let go of fear, and you've got to trust. And whether it's taking baby steps into the trust, or it's taking a full-on dive into the trust, whatever it is, it's time for you to get up, step up, and live that dream. Tend to that garden. Tend to that thing, that seed that's been planted, and allow it to bloom, grow, and prosper. Nurture it in your soul, and make a choice. Because you're human. Make a choice to be a perfect divine expression of that which created you. Make a choice to live completely as an expression of God itself. Make a choice to show who you are. Open your mind. And one of the hardest things for those of us, many people go through big things, and big things cause tremendous pain and drive them, right? Like the pain that Safi was singing about, drives them into, oh my gosh, this is a blessing. I got to do some work and fix this stuff. I got to deal with it. I got to see what's going on. I got to address it. Many people go through pain in that way, and they're able to go through and sing, oh, my pain is my blessing. Here I am using my pain to catapult myself into the next level of my living and to live my life fully and wholly. And then some people get the pain and they curl up in a ball. And they go into survival mode. And they just live from that place. And on the external, all appears to be well. The bills are paid. The light's on. The food's in the refrigerator. I'm not starving, so it's okay. But you're here to do more than that. If there is a dream, and there is a dream, because no human being can exist without a dream. There is a dream, there is an idea, there's a thing about your life that you desire. And when you're not nurturing it, when you are not tending to it, you are allowing it to fester. And you're allowing it to just be there, laying dormant, without being nurtured, without growing. And then you yourself are growing. You yourself are just in existence. So I'm inviting you to trust in God, trust in the process, trust in Spirit, trust that God has brought you here to be more, do more, experience more as itself, because every time that you do something great and grand and glorious, you are inviting Spirit to experience itself great and grand and glorious as your very self. So everything that you do in partnership with the divine. Either you're doing it full out, you're doing it partially, you're doing it a little bit, or you're not doing it at all. But every time that you allow yourself to be in your highest and best self, to be whether it's to be the best grandmother ever, whether it's to be the best mother ever, whether it's to open a beautiful bed and breakfast and invite people to live, or have a meditation home, or travel the world and dance, whatever that is, whatever your calling is, when you start to nurture that, opportunities start to come. And you don't even have to do a lot of nurturing. Let me tell you that. You just have to say, it would be nice to do such and such. I'm really willing to do that. You just have to start to become willing to do a thing or say a thing. And then all of a sudden, out of unexpected places, comes this opportunity, comes this information, comes this chance. From across the country, from the other side of the globe, comes an opportunity. Nothing is happening in happenstance. Everything is happening in divine order. So when the blessing comes to you, and the window of opportunity opens, or the portal or the door of opportunity opens, that spirit calling you and saying, come and live fully. Come and experience that thing that's calling you from deep within your soul. The vision is calling you. Come to it. And when you say yes, you start to get abundant blessings. You start to experience abundant love, joy, and peace. And every time you say no, you constrict the portal, you constrict the flow, you constrict your opportunity. And every time you turn to fear, you turn away from flow. Every time you turn to anxiety and worry, you turn away from flow. But if you can stand in your own divinity and turn courageously to the truth and allow it to flow to you, look at the blessing and call it what it is. Oh my gosh, look at this person that God has put right before me to help me feel this, or to help me experience that, or to help me create this. Look at it. I'm so grateful for this opportunity, this book, this call, this chance meeting. And you start to bless and nurture that. It starts to become so much, your blessings will start to become pressed down and overflowing. Your opportunities start to pour forth into your life, and you keep saying yes, and you keep getting more, and you keep expanding into your own greatness. There is no way to stop that flow except with fear, and your perception of the flow shuts down. Except with anxiety and worry and doubt. But when you stand in courage, and you stand in love, and you stand in truth and knowingness, everything starts to flow to you in and as you, and your awareness of the flow becomes expanded, and your ability to accept, receive, and give expands. And you start to live in the world as you were truly designed to live in the world, in abundance and truth, peace and prosperity, harmony and love, and you thrive. And as you thrive, you give everyone around you permission to thrive and prosper. You give everyone that comes in contact with you permission to be in love and to be in joy and to be in peace and to be in harmony. And when they see you radiating your goodness, it gives them an opportunity to radiate their own goodness, their own truth. And you start to sing your song and they start to sing their song. And one by one, just by changing our way of being in the world, we change the entire planet. And we start to create a world that works for everyone. You are here to be a part of this massive thing that we call life. You are here to be a part of this thriving evolution of the human consciousness. You are here to live, to love, to thrive, to prosper, to be great. Accept the call. Answer the phone. Spirit is calling. Step through the door of opportunity. Take the risk. Dive off. Get off the side of the pool. Take your toes out the water and jump in and swim. Life is amazing, and you are here to be a part of it. Peace and blessings.